Hello. Is this thing working? It is working. Great. Hi, it's Jared Sunder here, and today I'm going to talk about Halo. That's right. I'm going to talk about Halo. But it's not going to be a fun little conversation. We talk about how great the graphics are, how much the music is a return to form, etc., etc. I know that I said I'm not going to talk about this anymore, but this is probably going to be the last video I make on the subject, again, unless something absolutely incredibly crazy happens. And the reason why I'm even making this video is because this isn't really just a beef with 343. This is a beef with Microsoft as a whole. I have a major problem with the way that Microsoft has decided to go about publishing games. This has been a problem I've noticed for the entire duration of time that I've watched Microsoft publish video games for. I'm astounded. I'm astounded that a game that marketed itself as a return to everything we wanted from a Halo game allowed itself to get to such a state. I have so much anger towards the higher-ups at 343 and Microsoft, I don't really care about treating them nicely. The fact is, those who are responsible for Halo Infinite's direction, and who decided to ask people to pay $60 for just a single-player campaign, who decided that the state that Halo Infinite launched in was acceptable, who decided that the game needed to release instead of delaying it to finish it, there's absolutely no question. They did nothing to allow for the game to be released in a quality state. The bugs and fixes present during the flight weren't addressed. Nothing was ever fixed. I can't stand that the top people at 343's names don't come up more often, because they are responsible for the shell of a game that we received. People like Bonnie Ross, Phil Spencer, the people who ultimately sign off and say that the game is okay to release in the state that it's in. I'm sick of Microsoft's handling of their studios. They've proven time and time again that they're unwilling to compromise on a project being released, regardless of the state that it's in. Just look at Sea of Thieves' launch date. Look at the way that it released with basically no content, very similar to Halo Infinite. When they tested the game, they kind of hinted that there's a lot more to come. Once you get to Pirate Legend in the game's going to start for you, essentially. Lots of things about how, oh, you're hardly getting even a slice of the pie that you're getting at launch. Sea of Thieves launched, and we found out that essentially what we were playing during the skill tests was the full game. Then we have Halo 5, a game that was launched without Forge in it. It was missing critical game modes, key game modes, very similar to Halo Infinite, except Halo Infinite is frankly worse. Gears 5 launched with an abysmal ranking system and terrible microtransactions, fundamental gameplay problems to the game to the point where all the people I know that used to play Gears of War have stopped playing the game completely. The common thread that you're going to notice here, when Microsoft is directly in charge of a studio and the decisions that they make, the studio does terribly. Microsoft's management of their studios is a blitz strategy of buying as many companies as possible to throw non-stop titles out there regardless of quality, and to likely serviceify as many as possible, hence things like Fallout 76 having an internal 5-year roadmap, Sea of Thieves doing content seasons that introduce a single new feature and quality of life changes. This is a company that does the bare minimum to support their studios, and does nothing to assure quality in any facet. The companies that produce quality content under Microsoft have always produced content and are responsible independent of Microsoft. These are companies such as Obsidian, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, etc. These companies produce independent titles and did prior to being purchased by Microsoft, and did an excellent job with them. Games like Outer Worlds, Hellblade, Psychonauts. But the second that a company becomes one of Microsoft's puppet companies with their claws in them, such as Rare, the Coalition, or 343, you notice that their ability to produce quality content is greatly diminished. We need to stop justifying these terrible launches that we consistently see, and we need to put pressure on Microsoft to back the fuck off of their studios and allow them to breathe. I think 343's issue is one that rests at the top. 343 clearly has no ability to defy Microsoft in any way, shape, or form. Otherwise, someone responsible would step in and tell them that something has to give within 343. The engine in Halo Infinite is failing. The community team has no patience for the community, and the company as a whole seems to have developed an us versus them mentality versus a community they're supposed to be making content for. How are you going to hate your community for expecting more from you when you did nothing for that community? Where's our roadmap? Where's the communication? Why did we not find out that Fighting for Halo Infinite's multiplayer was delayed in 2020 until well after they promised a timeline for it? Why hasn't there been any acknowledgement of troubled development despite it being the worst kept secret in the industry? Why is there so much pride behind leadership at 343 when they've consistently let the community down from the beginning? Why is this same leadership that has failed in a major way with every single title they've released still in leadership? And most importantly, why should I respect your decisions as a developer when you don't respect me? You make video games for me to play, and that doesn't make you superior to me. So stop acting like it.